So you were laughing at that, see? So what we have to do is learn to laugh at our failures. And there's so much to be learned from every single step. So even if you don't succeed today or tomorrow, your contribution will have played a part in changing the world. And Jetman there, Yves Rossi, who actually, this last footage is from the Grand Canyon flight, which only took place a couple of days ago. He has been classified as an aircraft, so he's a one-man airplane right there. So that's quite an achievement, and he could have never done it without all those people that came before him. So as Henry Ford said, failure is the opportunity to begin again and more intelligently. So we have to embrace failure as part of the path to change, because failing is what makes us stronger. And the more we fail, the easier it becomes. And it's our goals and our beliefs that will help us through that process. There's a lot of examples in history where people thought that actually they failed when in fact they had succeeded. And that's why it's really important to keep an open mind, so we can recognize a failure as a success. So we can't dwell in it. And there's one great example of the Chinese cook who was trying to create different dishes and actually came up with fireworks in his kitchen. So I don't know what he was trying to cook, and I wouldn't eat his cooking. But there you go. And we actually don't need to look much further than our own agency, where if we look at 3M, Silver Spencer, who was trying to come up with superglue, pretty much failed in that task, because what he came up with was a really weak adhesive that didn't stick to anything and could be peeled off. But he didn't discard that idea. And then a few years later, it became known as Post-it, and that's a worldwide selling success.
So as you have seen, changing the world is possible. But we have to start from ourselves, as individuals. And an essential part of our world is work. As you can see, we are all here. It's like 75% of our life, we spend it here. It's like more than with our friends and with our family. So it's better we enjoy it. Sometimes, although we are like in an advertising agency, why with me doesn't work? We are an advertising agency, and sometimes could look a little bit like a factory job. Some of us could like it because of the absence of responsibility, but this it will take off power from our individuality, and this is the strength of Ogilvy Action. As Mike said last week at the Friday Trolley, we are here to create big ideas in action, and the ideas come from each one of us, and with the collaboration of everyone, we'll make them happen. Like each one of us can have ideas, and I'm not talking about just above the line or big crazy campaign. It's just every idea that we can use, like people can have as account, as new business planners, everyone. This it will make the difference, because it will make the difference between a production line or it will make our job more fun and rewarding. An example is a personal example is for the 3M campaign. Like Grant and I, we were sitting around the table and we came up with this idea, talking about royal wedding and Post-it. and we shared with the creative director after that to the Jason, to the account, and he loved it. We presented to the client, he gave us the account because he loved the idea. With the effort of the agency, we make it happen, and it spread the idea. And now we have even Amazon selling it between 12 and 60 pounds as like canvas online. And people like believed in this idea, and we make it happen. And Jeff presented in France at the meeting. So, and this just is from two people sitting around the table with having a proactive idea. Alena has another example to give you. She loves animals and she wants to talk about it.
I love animals. The SPCA was originally founded with the intention of killing stray animals. I don't know how many of you know that. So, what used to happen was that in a given year, about 4 million cats and dogs were taken off the streets and killed in about 24 hours. Not a good time to be a dog or a cat on the street. One man at the SPCA believed that this was wrong. So he set out to make San Francisco the first no-kill city. So he wanted for everyone in the community to adopt a cat or a dog, and in 2 years he achieved it by working with others and fighting against his own organization, because everyone told him it was impossible. And you can just imagine that first meeting when he said, no, I want to do things completely differently. But he realized there was a better way of approaching this problem. So here he was, as we were saying in the beginning, just taking a fresh perspective on it and standing up for what he believed in. And quite remarkably, he then did it in New York, and then he did it in another city, and then another city, and another city. So it's a really good example of how one person with a strong belief who took action and worked with others actually made a big change. So we're saying, believe in yourselves and persevere, especially if you go against the odds, and do go against the odds. And we have a last video of a really true believer who went against the odds, and one of the funniest clips ever.
Oh, this is the really speaking laxative.
I want to ask you a question. Straight out, flat out, I want you to give me an honest answer. What do you think the chances are of a guy like you and a girl like me ending up together?
Well, Lloyd, that's difficult to say, and we really don't...
Anyway, just give it to me straight. A long way just to see you married. Just at least you can do this level with me. What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good, like 1 out of 100?
More like 1 out of 1 million.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah! I reckon.
Positive thinking that we're talking about.
Yeah. So in conclusion, guys, what we want to tell you is take all the things you don't like about the world and flip them. Start from one and put it in action. It's possible, and you can do it from now. This is our world, your world. Shape it, or someone else will do it for you.
And we'd just like to leave you with a parting thought. For the next few minutes, think about what you could do to change your world. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. you very, very much, guys. That was inspirational, exciting, and incredibly interesting to listen to. At the end of a Friday, another long week, and a perfect segue into this week's Deal of the Week. It's great to be reminded that we're all capable of extraordinary things if we're prepared to try, sometimes fail, and try again and keep trying. And as you would have heard last week, Deal of the Week has been brought to the company to recognise